Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of our brand new podcast. My name is Teena, and this is Chris. Say hi, Chris.
No, we have been friends for 30 years, and we met in high school. It was the early 90s, and she has been hanging around with me ever since.
For some reason, we have remained good friends all of these years. It's me, I'm the reason. And now that we've hit the 30-year mark, we think it's time to inflict our friendship upon the world. So we started a podcast.
And voila, here we are. So come with us as we talk about all kinds of crazy things, generational conflicts, personal development, the general dumbassery of life. Right?
We'll tell stories, gossip about people we know, talk about hot topics, all the while making fun of and tormenting each other along the way.
You think anyone's going to listen to this podcast?
I have no idea, but we're here to find out. Let's get started.
Hello, friends, and welcome back. Our next segment is going to make you laugh. It's called Celebrity Interview. Teena will be our celebrity, and she has no idea what I'm going to ask her or what she's in for. It's a simple concept. Let's see what our improv skills are like today. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Celebrity Interview. Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to Take 5, America's favorite daytime talk show. I'm your host, Flouncy McGee, and our guest today is very, very special and a very exciting woman. She is a world-renowned author with 34 titles under her name and a recent Peabody Award winner for her historical fiction novel, Betsy Ross, Leprechaun Hunter. Please welcome Teena to the show. Teena, hello.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to promote my book.
Congratulations on the Peabody Award. How exciting.
It was very exciting. I'm so excited.
Well, we are excited to have you here and to talk about your book. You know the concept, 5 simple questions. Let's dive right into the 5 questions, shall we?
Absolutely.
Great. Number 5. Can you summarize the story of Betsy Ross, Leprechaun Hunter, and tell us where the inspiration came from?
So, Chris, what makes it so exciting is that everybody has a secret life. We have a version of ourselves that we don't show people. And I came across some old documents in my grandmother's attic. I didn't know that her and Betsy Ross were friends, but apparently they were.
Wow.
Or somebody like that, I guess. I don't know. She got them from somewhere, but I think they were friends. And there was also some leprechaun memorabilia in with these letters. And that led me to believe that Betsy Ross was actually a great seamstress, but also a leprechaun hunter. And so I went into my imagination and came up with all of this great stuff for my book. And I made a book.
That's an incredible story. You found evidence in your grandmother's attic of Betsy Ross and leprechaun hunting in the same trunk or box, was it?
Yes, it was a box.
And this inspired your story. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why not? Someone's got to hunt those leprechauns.
Someone does indeed. I am fascinated by that. Thank you so much for sharing. Move on to number 4. Number 4. Last year, the world watched in horror as ring cam footage from your front door surfaced online that appeared to show your husband being abducted by space aliens and put into a craft that floated away very quickly. Have you heard from your husband since, or have you heard from the aliens?
Well, Chris, I'm glad that you asked because the aliens, they do this regularly. He gets abducted probably every 3 months. And this is the first time it ever got caught on video. So I'm actually glad that there was some footage to show what happens to him. They do bring him back usually very quickly within a week. Sometimes the break is good for me. So I have heard from him.
I see.
Yeah, okay. And he comes back, and then he'll be off again in 3 months. A couple of the aliens though I thought looked familiar. They normally I don't see them. He just disappears, and then he tells me that it's aliens. But this time we have it on video. So
sure.
Now I have proof.
And they look familiar. You said a couple of them looked familiar.
Just their mannerisms. They look like some friends of his that he hangs out with a lot. But he assured me that they were aliens. And I mean, and you can see the green skin. So he doesn't have any friends that have green skin. So yeah.
I mean, the video doesn't lie. It was space aliens for sure. I guess we didn't realize that he was back in your life. He wasn't disappearing forever. He comes and goes. That's wonderful news.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it's very traumatic for him. And when he's gone, and then he doesn't really want to talk for a few days, and when he comes back, and then he's back to normal. But about the time he's back to normal, he gets kidnapped again, and he's gone.
Unbelievable. Wow. What a vicious cycle. Someday we should probably look into that and understand a bit more of what's happening.
As long as he's safe, I guess.
Oh, that's wonderful. Question number 3. In 2005, you said in an interview with Writers Are Us magazine, do you remember that one? It was a great article. Oh, great. You said, quote, "Disabled people are just people with disabilities, and a disability is a hindrance to the person inflicted. Therefore, disabled people are a hindrance inflicted onto society." What say you today?
Did I say that? I mean, I guess I did. I just don't remember saying that exactly. What I meant was that it was a hindrance to society because they don't have things that are already in place for disabled people. We have to come up with new things. And I think if society would just get on board and, make a few extra places at the table, and then everybody could come and party.
I really wish I could remember that movie you're referencing right now. I just can't remember what it is. What is it? What's
Clueless?
Clueless. Yes.
I was like, what did you say I said about disabled people? You're awful.
The Clueless. I can't even recover from that. That's too funny.
Hold on, I'm crying. Oh, wow. I was not expecting that kind of question. I was like, whoa, did I say that? I guess I did. I guess I can't get out of it now.
Fascinating response. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really do appreciate it. Moving on to question number 2. In 2002, you were on a book tour when you forgot your microphone was still on, and the audience heard you say to a bartender, quote, "Bisexual people are just confused and greedy. I mean, pick a lane and drive." Do you stand by that statement today?
I do, but to a very specific person.
Oh, do tell.
So, I didn't think it was going to get worse.
This is your history, Tina. You were the one that wanted to come on this show. This is your history. Do you stand by that statement today?
It's very difficult for me to say this, but yes. At the time, I had been dumped.
Oh.
And my heart was broken. And the person that I was dating that broke up with me told me that they were bisexual and that they were going to date a man. And I was devastated. And so I said a lot of things that probably shouldn't have been said. But if I'm truthful, yeah, it's very selfish to just date everybody. You got to leave some people for us. I had a hard time meeting someone, and I know it's not my personality.
If you're just joining us, we're here on Take 5 with Tina, and she is about to answer the final question of the day. Tina, in 2010, it was widely announced that you adopted a new child and a new puppy on the same day. Then you tried to return the child to the animal shelter 5 days later. After a brief investigation and a very relaxing 4-week stay at Bellevue Hospital, we never heard of your new child or the puppy ever again. Are you able to talk about that today?
I'm so glad that you brought this up. I did stay in a hospital. It was very relaxing. Nice. I will just say this. I was not ready for the commitment of a child. The dog I still have. He's running around here somewhere. But the
Lovely.
child was a little bit too much. Did you know that they poop all the time? Like my dog goes outside, but I had to like put something on it to catch it from the
Sure.
child.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then they cry and they can't tell
No.
you why they're crying. You have to just figure it out on your own. I'm a busy writer. I've got
Of
a lot of
course.
things going on in my head.
Of course you do. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You do have 2 adult children already. Is that not correct?
Well, do I? Yes, I do.
They weren't a challenge to raise the first time around. It was the third adopted child that was going to be challenging, that you just realized they poop their pants all the time.
I forgot. It had been a while. It had been a while. And I've done, I've grown so much as a human, and I've accomplished so much in my life since my children were raised, that it's almost like I'm a whole new person.
Well, wonderful. I am so glad we got to talk about all these fascinating aspects of your life. Congratulations on your new book. Once again, Betsy Ross, Leprechaun Hunter, is now available anywhere you buy fine books. Teena, good luck and thank you.
Thank you for having me. And I'll take a new agent recommendation because I think I'm getting rid of the last one I had. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is game time, so we're going to play our favorite game, This or That. This time, the twist is I get to ask Chris some weird questions and let's see how his brain works. I know.
Oh,
I know. It was your turn.
So excited.
It was only a matter of time.
Okay. It was before I was in the hot seat. Here we go.
Okay. So let's see how you do. I think there's a couple on here that I put on here that you asked me. I want to see your reaction to those. So we'll see. We'll see what we have time for. All right. First question. Would you rather be able to teleport anywhere, but only once a day, or be able to fly, but you can only fly 10 feet off the ground?
Flying is always the cool one. I've always wanted to fly, and I think flying is the way to go. But 10 feet off the ground, I mean, what would that mean? That would mean like I'm flying underneath stoplights and underneath
bridges
and stuff. But I'm still flying, and you're not, so that's cool. I mean,
true.
That's kind of fun. I can see you being envious of me flying. I'm like, hi, I'm 10 feet above you. Mm-hmm. You can't get me. But then again, teleportation anywhere in the world, but only once a day, so it's an overnight trip minimum. Like, you can't come back. So if I want to go to Egypt, I got to stay 24 hours. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to fly 10 feet above the ground. I think I am. I think I'll fly 10 feet above the ground because I can get above all the bullshit, and I can also...
10 feet? That all it takes is just the 10 feet.
In Manhattan, yes. If I could have flown 10 feet above the ground in my days in Manhattan, absolutely. But... plus, it'd be kind of cool because I would be the only one flying, and they'd be like, "Hey!"
But everybody would be able to see you, and you could hear them talking smack because you're only 10 feet up.
But I could just jump down and pop them in the face and then fly away.
I guess
10 feet away really quick. Like, what are they going to do? They can't reach me.
True.
I say fly 10 feet above the ground.
Okay, 10 feet above the ground it is. That's a good one. I think I would agree with that. Okay. All right. So next one, which would you rather? Always have to whisper or always have to shout?
Oh, I am such a naturally loud talker when I need to be, and I have a very, very how do we say? I spent some time training my voice in theater school, so I know how to project my voice when I need to. God, that sounded obnoxious, but it's true. So I'm very, very good at yelling. So I would say I would yell forever, although obviously I wouldn't be able to do things like talk in a movie theater or talk anywhere in public because I'd be yelling all the time. So I'd only be able to speak inside my own private home, I guess. That's kind of weird. But if you're whispering the whole time, everyone's going, what? And that just draws people closer to you. And I don't want you
have to become a close talker. Yeah, you have to be able to get right in someone's face. Mm-mm. Yeah.
No, I guess it means I won't be talking to people ever again, and I'm fine with that. I say scream rather than whisper because I am bringing people close to me to talk. No, thank you.
The other workaround you could do for that is carry one of those little whiteboards like on a chain around your neck, and then, you can tell people, I can only yell. We can write notes, or I can yell at you. You can warn them. You know what I mean?
I'm like some romper room Flavor Flav walking around with a whiteboard on my chest.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Or you could you could just have a note in your wallet and show it to people, I guess. Like, if people talk to you, you're like, 1 moment, please. We unfold this piece of paper. I don't know.
I'm a shouter. Yeah, I think I'd rather. It is one way. It's a ridiculous way around it, but it is one way around it. I think I'd rather shout. Because I'm not bringing in the people to talk to me, and I'm good at shouting. I'm loud.
Okay. All right. I accept that. Here's your next question.
Oh, Lord.
This one makes me laugh, maybe.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Would you rather have no elbows or have no knees?
No elbows or no knees.
So your arms would always be like this? Or you'd have to sit down with your legs straight out in front of you like a child, I guess.
Like a mannequin doll? I don't know what's.
Could you even sit down? You would have to plop into a chair because you couldn't bend your knees to squat.
No, you'd have to have apparatus where your arms lower you into your chair. Pull yourself up and down all the time. Or the chair that pushes you up from behind.
Yes.
That lifts you out of the chair.
Mm-hmm. You'd get one of that to get one of those that takes you up the stairs too, right? Because you couldn't have to use stairs.
Oh my God, you couldn't use stairs. But then again, if my arms don't bend, then I can't like eat or drink, feed myself.
Oh, that's right.
Or any of that stuff. Or
it's very
any
serious.
personal
It's a very serious problem. I can't believe I said it made me laugh.
The Americans with Disabilities Act is very disappointed in you.
I'm sure.
I can't imagine you wouldn't be able to do any personal hygiene if you couldn't bend your arms.
That's true. You couldn't do any personal hygiene. Let's get back to the real questions. Why are you avoiding the question? No elbows or no knees?
I know. I feel the pressure of a congressional hearing. No knees. No knees.
Okay.
Because I would find mechanical ways to get what I need done, and I could still put on like maybe like I could like get a gliding machine where I could glide all the way around town, where I'm just swinging my legs so they don't have to bend. Or I get a Segway. I don't have to move my legs at all. I just ride on the Segway.
How would you get on it?
Hop. Just hop on.
All right. I accept that answer. All right.
Like that, yeah.
Would you? Okay, so we're going to go with no knees.
No
All
knees.
right, so here's one. Would you rather always smell like garlic or always smell like wet dog?
Oh, that's not even a thing for me.
Yeah.
I will eat my weight in garlic. I love garlic. I don't care if I smell like it and it comes out my pores. I don't care. But a wet dog, I love my dogs. We have 3 of them. The minute they're wet, they stay outside until they're a year older. I'm not bringing them inside the house at all.
Until they're a year older. Yeah,
that's a year older.
I have the same issues with we've got 2 dogs and a cat, and the dogs just don't clean themselves the way cats clean themselves. You got to physically give them baths and everything, which is fine, but if they're outside in the rain,
yeah, but then even a clean dog still smells like a wet dog until it's dry, and then that drives me insane.
Yeah. Would you rather only be able to eat food with chopsticks or only be able to drink everything through a crazy straw? So all the food you eat, you have to use chopsticks, and everything you drink has to be through a crazy straw.
Okay, I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna be real with the people right now. I do not know how to use chopsticks. I have tried my entire life to learn, and it is a skill that still evades me. I don't know why. I know it's very simple. My brain does not work, and my hands do not work, and the 2 of them do not work together. So I cannot get chopsticks to work. So I would have to choose crazy straw because I would never eat again. I would just end up stabbing things with the
Well, didn't
chopstick.
say you had to use them properly. Just said you had to use them.
That's true. Plus, how do you eat soup? I don't know.
Well, then you just pick the bowl up and drink it
with a crazy straw.
Oh, that's right.
I would say crazy straw. I have to drink it with a crazy straw.
How do you get taken seriously with anybody if you're like, hold on, and it's like,
give me a beer. I want a scotch on the rocks. I want a whiskey and I want a tequila straight up.
Put a crazy straw in it.
I think a little wit and whimsy is fun for people, don't you think? I think I would love to drink out of a crazy straw all day long. They'd be like, here comes that guy that carries us going crazy straws with him. What's he
you could get them like engraved or made out of metal
Oh,
so that they're,
I would. They would be custom made, custom matched every outfit that I'm wearing, glasses, Oh yeah.
Any crazy straw customization people out there, let us know in the comments.
Hit me up. I'll do it. I don't forget the game. I'll custom crazy straw. Hit me up.
Oh, God. All right, last one. Would you rather never have to sleep but always be tired, or sleep as much as you want but never dream?
Oh. This is easy for me, unfortunately.
Oh.
I would choose never dreaming. Sleep as much as I want and never dream. I don't do well when I am tired. I am a cranky little bitch when I am tired. I am 6'3". Shut up. You don't know me. I am 6'3", 785 pounds. So when I'm tired, it's a big monster that didn't get enough sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. So I yeah, I don't do well on light sleeping, and I don't do well when I wake up. I wake up a lot, like every hour, sometimes every half hour, all night long. Drives me insane. So no, I would pick whatever the other one was. What was the question?
Sleep all you want but don't dream.
Yeah, that one. I sleep a lot. I love sleeping, but not dreaming. That's fine.
You should see somebody about the sleep thing.
I know. I should always probably stop drinking coffee at 8:00 at night too.
Oh,
just kidding.
That might be your first. No. That might be the first test. Like, do that first.
Yeah, there are definitely some lifestyle choices I'm sure I have to adapt to, but this sleep thing has happened as I've gotten older.
Oh,
like my sleep rhythms have gotten all kind of out of whack, and I don't know how to fix them yet.
One of my sisters can't drink any caffeine at all after 3 p.m.
Really?
After 3, and I think she actually goes even earlier. She might not do it after lunch now, but it used to be any caffeine at all. No chocolate, no soda, nothing.
See, I would lose my mind. That's my fear, is that you've reached this point now, and it means you can no longer do this. And I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not sleeping anymore because I'm drinking coffee or I'm eating chocolate.
You could have my superpower. ADHD. Caffeine does not affect me the way it affects other people. I can literally drink a full cup of coffee and go right to sleep.
Wow. Well, actually, surprisingly, so can I. It's staying asleep is the problem. I can go to sleep, just can't stay asleep.
Well, I understand. Well, I really appreciate your answers.
Thanks.
Didn't really decide to go over any of the duplicated stuff. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket for next time. But I hope everybody had fun. Time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to do this again. Okay. I hope everybody had fun with us for this or that. And we will catch you next time.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Great Debate. Teena and I have a lot of opinions on a lot of different things, and this segment is going to represent that. And you all will get to join in on the fun and frivolity of it all. This is a segment we're calling The Great Debate. All right, Teena, so are you ready to have our first debate topic? Are you ready to get into it?
I think so. All right. I could take it.
You ready to bring your facts and your notes and your research?
I do have my notes.
Do you? Your little notes? Okay. Today's topic is Marvel. Did Marvel Studios kill Hollywood? That's the question. Did Marvel Studios kill Hollywood? And before we get into it, I would just like to say the following statement. As of July 2024, there are 34 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The MCU is the largest franchise in history and has earned over $29 billion worldwide. The first Marvel movie was Iron Man in 2008. So between 2008 and 2024, they have released 34 movies with, I believe, another 11 or 13 in the pipelines coming down the works. Teena, your thoughts on Marvel?
Did Marvel ruin Hollywood?
Did Marvel kill Hollywood? Did it kill it? You know, that basically means 2 Marvel films a year since they've started in 2008. That's kind of what that works out to. Right. And that means let's just say it's $30 billion in what? 14 years? Is that the math there? Something like that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is insane. I agree. But to answer the question, did Marvel kill Hollywood? No. What's the next question?
Lies.
Lies. So here's the thing.
Tell me why you think they did.
Okay, so I did actually learn some stuff while I was doing my research. I didn't really know, and some of this is going to be, I'm sure you already know this, but for some people they may know or they may not. But I didn't understand the difference between like domestic, national, or domestic, and then worldwide, national, whatever. International. There you go. Domestic, international, worldwide. So domestic box office represents the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Guam. I don't know why I did.
Guam.
When I think domestic, I thought, it was just the United States because that's just what I thought. So I was
Right.
wrong.
Sure. That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. That's the term we use it mostly when we say domestic. We mean our own
We
country
mean our
most
own
of the time.
country,
So,
right? So that's why I was surprised at how big that area was.
sure.
I do actually have some dollar figures actually up on my other screen if we want to get into it. But I think
Yeah.
so. Here's the thing: in the last 10 years, domestic ticket sales have dropped against streaming services. Right.
Yes.
So our actors
Yes.
aren't necessarily out of work. But if we're
Correct.
talking about box office, we're talking about those are the numbers when they make a movie. Those are the numbers they go by, right? How much did
Right.
we gross domestically? How much did we gross internationally, et cetera, et
That's
cetera.
how they determine success or failure.
Right.
Yes, by the box office.
So, I mean, Netflix subscriptions in that same time period in the last 10 years, well, not the last 10 years, but let's say from 2011 to 2020. In 2011, Netflix subscriptions were at 21.5 million. 2020, they were 203 million. People
Incredibly.
subscribing.
Wow.
Which, I get that it's a great platform. People, get right to your home and all of those things. But I think what Marvel did was bring people back out to the movies, because in that same time frame, the box office went from 2011 to 2011 to 2020 is what I'm talking about. In that same time frame, box office gross went from about 10 billion to about 2 billion. I mean, it dropped significantly. People just weren't going to the movies anymore. They were staying,
Correct.
some people were, but they were staying home. They were watching it streaming. I mean, I'm going to say I was guilty of this as well, because why would I spend $20 a pop going to the movies, or $15 a pop, whatever it costs now, plus snacks, plus everything else? It's $100 to get my family into the movies if we do that, right? Or I could stay home and we could pop our own popcorn and have our own snacks and be able to pause
and watch it 3 weeks later.
And watch it 3 weeks later and what? Yeah. So I think that Marvel movies, regardless of the artistry, regardless of how you feel about the quality of the storytelling or whatever that is, I think they really brought back people to the theater, because there is something about seeing a movie like that with a lot of fanfare in the theater. I also looked up the top 10 domestic grossing films of all time. I'm not going to read them all to you, but number 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8, all Marvel movies.
Of course. Yeah, they are unstoppable juggernauts. Yeah. Absolutely no contest with that. Right. Not a question about that. 100%.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Marvel has done something and achieved something that no one ever has achieved before, and they changed the game in Hollywood. I don't dispute the box office draw. I think movies were dying because of streaming services, and then the pandemic was the final death knell in the whole concept. And we see that in Hollywood across the board, how it's changing, how things are working because of streaming services and everything else. So Hollywood is in itself changing.
Of course.
But in the past 14 years, or 2008 to 2024, Hollywood has been dominated by Marvel. And because Marvel films have been so successful, and because they are such money-making juggernauts, that is all Hollywood wants to produce. And this is the problem when I say Marvel has killed Hollywood. At one point in time, when we were growing up, there was the opportunity for a thing called a sleeper hit, or a small film that would get produced that would then turn into a big summer hit, or small films that would just do well and go away. They didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was okay.
Yeah.
These stories we have lost. And that's why I believe Marvel killed Hollywood. We have lost the originality of Hollywood. We have lost the originality of storytelling, because Marvel not only proved that comic books could be bankable, but that pre-written material, established material, source material was the way to go. That if there was an audience for a comic book or a book, then that audience would automatically be there for the film. And they've proven that to be pretty much true over and over and over again. And because of that, Hollywood will no longer take the risk on a film that could blow the world away, that could change people's minds. There have been great films in the past that I don't think would ever get made today, So when I say Marvel killed Hollywood, I am not a fan of what Marvel has done to Hollywood, but I certainly recognize the brilliance in the special effects, the artistry, the filmmaking, all of the things that they have done. They have certainly advanced the art form and advanced the technology, but I feel it has done so at the expense of what we used to call Hollywood, what we used to call, creativity, ingenuity, these new ideas, Goonies, E.T., these great moments of our childhood. I'm not sure would be made today because they aren't attached to the Marvel universe, and I think that's sad.
So
And
I
I
have a
think
counterpoint
we're
to that.
missing.
Because
Okay,
I don't think any of that went away. I really don't. I think it is all transitioned. I think
to streaming
TV,
services,
but
yes, I
television,
would.
and
Yeah,
I think television is so much better today for
I agree,
that. It
100%.
gives you the ability to do true justice to a story, right? Especially if it's from a work of art that's like a book or something written, because you can do a series. You can even do a
Right,
limited series. You
sure.
can really express that more true, I think, in a more true artistic way than having to cram it in and trying to package it for the masses, because I think that's where Marvel has gotten it. Yes, they package it for the masses, and the masses eat it up like candy. And the problem is Hollywood is nothing if not about making money. I mean, regardless of what it
100%.
started at,
Absolutely.
and
No, you're right.
they're gonna do what makes money, and
That's why it's
so
called show business. It's show business.
exactly, yeah. And
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and do I think that other movies don't get made because of it? Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's true, because I think if
Mhm.
I'm a movie executive and I have this brilliant new director who's up and coming and he's had promising short form films or whatever, and then I have the opportunity to back a Marvel movie, well, I'm going to go make a couple $1 billion. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I'm not
Right.
going to feel bad about it. And I know that's what happens. And so I just think that the streaming services, whether people want to be on TV or on the silver screen, however they look at it, but I think
Sure.
TV has come so far. And
So I would
yeah,
agree with you 100%. In fact, the shift to television being in a new golden age and the content that's being created is remarkable,
yeah,
and the A list celebrities that would have never been on the small screen
yeah,
10 years ago
right.
are lining up for television work right now. So you're absolutely right. That is a definite change in Hollywood, and I'm thankful for that, because I agree with you. What it's not being made for films now can also be made for television.
Hmm.
But there are still stories that I think that are wonderful film stories, that are short 2-hour stories that can be told in film that just won't get made.
Yeah.
And that bothers me when Iron Man has 13 appearances. And I read that, um what's her name, who was Iron Man's number 2, Gwyneth Paltrow,
Hmm.
didn't realize that she was in an entire film. Like, she didn't realize she was in Avengers Endgame or whatever, because she had done so many
Oh,
appearances,
yeah.
and she couldn't keep them straight. And so, and then there's this intense need to follow the dogma and the canon of Marvel, and this meant this, and then this universe was rebooted for this, and I'm like, give me a mother freaking
That's no
break,
different than
please.
Star Wars or Star Trek.
It is only in that Star Wars was a single franchise, one film every couple of years. Marvel is this
No, but I'm talking about the
juggernaut.
dogma and the having
Yes.
to
Oh,
stick
for
to
sure.
canon, and yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But again, if you're watching, you know, 2 or 3 Marvel films a year continuously, I don't know. To me, it's a lot. That it's repetitive. It's generic. It's all the things that I don't like about art that's made for the masses,
Yeah.
right? But I get it. I totally get it. I enjoy them. I watched Doctor Strange is one of my favorites. Ant-Man and Wolverine was a hysterical film. I have a great time with some of them. Um, my husband, just like you, what couldn't care less. Star Trek, Marvel, he's happy. Excuse me, Star Wars and Marvel, he's happy for the rest of his life. Star Trek, he'll take or leave. But Star Wars and Marvel, he's good. And now
Yeah.
Dune, I'm like, oh, good. There's gonna be 16 episodes, 16 films of Dune now. Wonderful.
I've never seen it. So
Yeah. So anyways, that's my little thoughts on Marvel.
yeah,
I don't know. I
I think
hear what you're saying.
I think the landscape is definitely changing. Does Hollywood make films like they did 20, 25 years ago, even 15 years ago? No.
No.
Yeah, they don't. But it's just a shifting landscape. I think those stories can still be told. I think those stories actually reach a wider audience when they're on Netflix. Not everybody can afford to go to the movie theater.
True. True.
It's because it's kind of, it's almost like a status thing, right? Because it's so
Mm,
expensive to go.
it is. It is.
And
And I am reminded that a lot of this is generational, right? I,
it's
I I
true.
feel like I'm
Yes.
I'm speaking about, like, I'm a boomer going, I used to buy a candy bar for a quarter, or whatever
Right.
our grandparents used
I
to tell
got
us all the
two
time.
shiny nickels rubbing together got me some. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. I mean, and you were walking uphill both ways in the snow. I get it. I know
Exactly.
all that stuff, right? But I came across an Upworthy.com article that made the circulations this week that I found was really interesting, and it was about a Gen X parent who made his Gen Z kids watch one of our favorite movies, Dead Poets Society.
Oh.
And the reaction that Gen Z had to Dead Poets Society, he was shocked by. He was not prepared for his kids. And are you know Dead Poets Society,
Of
right? Are you
course.
familiar with? Yeah,
Yes. I
right.
saw it in the
Great,
theater.
great movie. Yeah, I know, right? Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The general takeaway from this article was simply that Gen Z does not like. They found one of the characters he doesn't know how to treat women, so he's a little too aggressive with girls,
Mm-hmm.
and we looked at it as aggressive but forgivable because he's awkward.
Mm-hmm.
They now look at it as problematic and someone who would be dangerous,
Mm-hmm.
and they see that character in a completely different form,
Of
which
course.
I accept that.
Yeah.
They were blindsided emotionally by the sudden suicide of the character at the end of Dead Poet Society,
Right.
as were we. We are all blindsided by it. They do not like it. They did not like it. They called it emotional trauma, and that they felt like it was put upon them. They did not like that experience. And then also said they did not like the fact that the institution didn't change. The whole movie happened. All of these lives were affected, and the school didn't change. And I found that to be the most fascinating, because we grew up thinking it was about us. We made the change. The boys in that story made the change.
Yeah.
The teacher made the change, but the school stayed the same because that was the environment we were living in at the time. And that's what fascinating article. And when the father pushed the kids, they all agreed it's a great film. They loved the film, but they had problems with it.
Yeah.
And I found that fascinating. And so when I say, how did Marvel kill Hollywood? And then the millennials and Gen Z are like, go to bed, grandpa, it's time for us to watch the TV.
Right.
I get it. I miss what Hollywood was for us, and I hope someday we get a little bit of that flavor back again. That's all.
And I agree. And I think that, we generationally, we're all brought up differently. We all have different life experiences.
Sure.
Regardless of how you personally feel, every generation thinks they're tougher than the one that came after them, right? And I think in some ways we probably are, but in some ways we're also not as good as the generation coming up behind us, because they're more, and this is my personal opinion, but like I think the younger people are more, they don't struggle with their sexuality. They don't struggle with things that should already be. Like they're like, we're living in 2024. Like, why are we still even having these conversations? And,
Right.
where when we were a kid, things like, like sexuality, you struggled through that. It was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can tell people, because you legitimately could be thrown out of your home and be homeless. Not that can't happen today, but I just think,
right.
So I think there's certain things that, so for us, the movie, The Dead Poet Society, and that suicide and that guy, I think those are people that we knew people like that. And we could understand, I believe the character was struggling with his sexuality. Wasn't that part of the problem? Okay. That's what I thought.
Yes, it was.
And so he was struggling with the sexuality. And so I think we could identify a little bit more with the turmoil. And I think maybe the younger people are like, why is it such a big deal? Like younger people now. And so for them to watch that and go, oh my God, he killed himself. Like I could see it. But yeah, I just, it's unfortunate. That's an interesting article though. You need to forward that to me. I want to read it.
I will. Yeah, for sure. It's interesting how art is viewed differently through the generations. And of course it is. Everything is viewed differently through the
life
generations,
experience.
right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. But when I start looking at why is Hollywood the way it is, Hollywood is always, RuPaul famously says Hollywood is just an idea. It's not a place, it's an idea. And it's true. And it's an idea that changes with the audience. That's its job, right? That's literally what it's supposed to do. And that is what it has done. Marvel dictates that they are the ones to get the attention now, and that's great. I just hope it doesn't last much more than 20 years. I hope we're reaching the end of the Marvel universe.
And I think we will.
Something else will
come along, and then
I mean, they had to stop making comic books at some point, didn't they? I mean, they have run out of storylines somewhere. I hope. I don't know.
I was never a big comic book reader, and I love those movies, but I always like I'm a big I like the adventure type, lots of flashbang, lots of special effects. I've always loved movies like that.
I do too. I love a big summer blockbuster, but the
Yeah.
reason I love them so much is because they're not always there.
Yeah.
They weren't always there. They used to be come out in the summer. That's why they were called a summer blockbuster. And now they're like Academy Award nominated Marvel film at Christmas time. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it is what
Fast
it is.
as they can
I
pump
get it.
them out.
That's right. And until they put me in a Marvel film, I just will not accept it.
Understood. I think that's reasonable.
It's a topic I enjoy, and I like that we can get a little bit more real with our silliness on this podcast. So, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you support Marvel? Is Marvel the devil? Those are the only two options. Let us know your thoughts, and get back to us. We'll talk to you again soon in the next segment.
Well, that marks the end of our 4th podcast. What do you think, Chris?
We are on our way. I still don't know where we're going to go, but we are on our way. We'll find out together, won't we?
Yep. Let's get this episode out there and see what the world thinks.
I think it's going to blow up. I really do. I think this is the episode that's going to blow up and go viral for sure.
Of course it is. But we need everybody's help out there. So please give the video a like if you had a giggle. Leave us a comment. Tell us your thoughts. And if you disagree with anything we said, let us know.
Yes, do. And please share our post. Tell your friends and family about us, those two weird midlife weirdos who are trying to have fun or will die trying. That's for sure. We're going to be here every single week, so we hope to see you along the way as well. Thanks for watching. Say goodbye, Teena.
Goodbye, Teena.
Bye.
Goodbye.